ALL102 Multimedia Assignment Task 1, Izayah Litchfield-Osborne. Imagine you're walking down the street and suddenly, BAM! You've been bitten and now you're a vampire. That's new. So now what? Are you just meant to go around and turn others into your sexual vampire slaves? Or are you meant to rid the world of those you deem bad? Well, thanks to texts like Bram Stoker's Dracula and Anna Liliana Pauw's A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night, we can gain a further understanding of whether Gothic texts seek to liberate desires or attempt to constrain them. Unfortunately, it's not as simple as stating whether Gothic texts as a whole either liberate or constrain desires, as seen across a whole range of texts, where one such as Stoker's Dracula aims to shine a negative light over sexual desires, and one such as Pauw's A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night sets to liberate through the reversal of gender roles. A common theme among Gothic texts, particularly ones which involve vampires, is sexual desire. While these texts may not include sex specifically, vampires are often associated with predatory sensuality. This can be noted in something as common as the classic vampire's bite, fangs penetrating and drawing blood, which can resemble the breaking of a virgin's hymen. This sexual desire is common among Gothic texts, however it can be seen in texts such as Dracula as constrained. This is due to the sexual nature of these desires being seen as impure or bad, particularly during the Victoria era of which they're set in. Throughout the novel, the concept of being involved with Dracula and dangerous sex are interwoven, and then are negatively viewed. This can be seen through the character Lucy, and her being taken over by Dracula. This was only made possible by her willingness to be affected by him. This is seen as impure, and the idea that is further reinforced by Lucy becoming more sexually assertive when she reunites with Arthur. She states, "Arthur, oh my love, I'm so glad you have come, kiss me," which is noted to be said in a soft, voluptuous voice. This idea that sexual behavior, particularly coming from women, is wrong is used as a means of warding away from or constraining this desire. As Kraft writes in Kiss Me with Those Red Lips, in imagining a sexually aggressive woman as a demonic penetrator, it justifies, as we see later, a violent expulsion of this deformed femininity. This further demonstrates how sexuality was negatively viewed during the Victorian era, comparing being a sexually assertive woman to being a dark creature of the night. Gothic texts such as Dracula aim to constrain the sexual desire, particularly of women, by asserting the notion that being sexually aggressive as a person is wrong, and that it is something that is almost demonic and inherently bad. Wait, so Gothic texts seek to constrain desires then? Well, not necessarily, as in cases these texts seek to liberate desires instead. Looking at Anna Lily Amirpour's film A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night, the audience is shown a different rendition of a vampire, one that seeks to liberate desires by killing those she deems bad, which, in a place called Bad City, she must be eating pretty good. Gothic texts such as this show a world which varies from our own, particularly in the swapping of gender roles. This is evidenced by the addition of the predatory creature being a woman rather than a man. This text shows the reversal of Stoker's Dracula, in where instead of a male being in control and turning innocent women into predatory monsters, a woman liberates good people's desires by killing the bad men that plague society. This, however, isn't a simple cut case of good or bad, as shown by the vampire letting the young boy go after she makes him promise to be a good boy, and with the love interest Arash, who is shown to be a thief. The vampire in this film kills both Hussein the junkie and Saeed the pimp, which in turn allows Arash and Ati the prostitute the opportunity to escape their past lives and move on, effectively liberating their desires. This is different when it comes to the sexual aspect of vampires, as the majority of those who had sex, or attempted to, were killed by the vampire, with the exceptions being the prostitute, who was liberated from her life of sexual abuse, and Arash, who I suppose was given the pass given the fact that he becomes the vampire's boyfriend. Gothic texts like this aim to liberate the character's desires, which were being constrained by the bad people in their past lives. Well, that's it. After gaining a deeper understanding of whether Gothic texts seek to liberate or constrain thanks to Amarpour's A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night and Stoker's Dracula, we see that these texts do both. In the sense of the Victorian era which Dracula is set, we can note that it aims to constrain the negative behavior of women, whereas in A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night, which is set in the more modern day, the gender roles are reversed, and these desires are turned into power. This is shown to be the case across numerous Gothic texts, particularly ones which involve vampires. And these texts also aim to further push away the gendered norms and classic aspects of vampires, while also continuing to liberate and constrain desires.